Hello. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to INV2601 quick lecture, 1.5 hour lecture. I have started my recording, so we should be, then let me start my slides. Okay, my name is Dr. Johnny Yamunda. Today I'm the one who is presenting. Last time my colleague Yomna was presenting, but today it's my turn to present. Just to make it manageable. Okay, let me mute some people. I'll ask someone to help with that person. Okay, we call that person a lecture leader. The person who will be looking around, making sure that she's just switching off everybody. Someone who forgets to switch off their mic and all those things. That person is important. Okay, let's see. Is my colleague here? Desiree, yes, you can talk with Desiree while I'm looking for my colleague.
Hi, John. It's Yumna, and I'm here online. So I'll be assisting you.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Now I'm putting you in the presenter. Yes, Yumna. So now life is good.
Okay.
We can actually start because now you will be monitoring everything else. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with how are you feeling today? I will post something there. It will pop up in front of you. How are you feeling today? You're going to say excellent, good, just okay, not well. Let's start there. So a pop-up will come. If it doesn't come, look in your chart. It will be there. Then you choose one of the options. Okay, so I have chosen my option, submit. So that I can see what everyone else is posting. Okay, how many people do we have today? Let's go look so that we know when we have too many, when we have enough responses. How many people do we have today? Today we have how many? 37 so far. 38. So the number is growing. So let's see, 19 responses. Okay, how are you feeling today? Why I start with this so that we know where the make of the land. And also because we want to make it as participative as possible. I know if you are not participating, according to learning theory, if you are not participating, you are not learning. So the more you participate, the better. And to answer the question, how are you feeling today, is one of the easy ones. So that when you do the calculations, it will be slightly more difficult. But today it's not going to be too difficult, but I hope it will be useful. Mojaki 4, Kakiso 4, Teboho 4. Excellent. So we have about 28, 20, Lizzie 3. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, so we can continue. So it means we have people are really reasonably okay. People are reasonably okay. Only 5 people who are excellent. So I am also excellent. I'm also excellent. Okay, let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to cover dividend discount models. This is where we are going to spend a bit of time. I'm hoping it's going to be useful time, the way we are going to present it. So we are going to do the no growth model, constant growth model, multi-stage model. Okay, all those things. Then we are going to do a few multiplier models, but I know you will not remember this. But this in the chat, or respond to a poll which is coming up. If you invest in shares, what returns are you? Oh, that's terrible grammar. Are you expecting to receive? That's terrible grammar. I'm sure I did it when it was midnight or somewhere. Or I know not midnight. It was maybe past 7. If you invest in shares, what returns are you expecting to receive? What tax returns are you expecting to receive? Is it dividends and capital appreciation? Is it interest and capital appreciation? Let's answer that, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you are here, you chose to come here to spend your 1.5 hours with us, and let's make it count. We can't do 1.5 hours walk around like what I do. I tell you what I do when I'm in these boring sessions. I walk around. I go tell stories. I answer my phone. But now I don't want you to do all that. All those things, let that be just me. You are going to be participating. Okay? So if you were to invest in shares, now we have 25 people. Okay, we can continue. Okay, let me just make my choice. Make my choice before I continue. So if you were to invest in shares, you are expecting to receive dividends and capital appreciation. When we say dividends and capital appreciation, we are saying that dividend is the return you're going to get on, plus capital appreciation is the one which might be tricky. Capital appreciation is to say you're expecting the share price to go up. That's what you expect. That's why you invest in shares. So when you talk about shares or equity, we are talking about ownership in a business. Shares could be private shares, private equity, or privately held shares, or publicly traded. Publicly traded shares are those shares for companies like Vodacom. You go on the JSE and you can buy shares for Vodacom. MTN, you go on the JSE on the stock exchange and you're able to buy shares for MTN. ShopRite and all those big companies, but smaller companies, let's say there was the Yumna, PTY Ltd, Yumna, my colleague's company by herself. It will be a private company, there will be private shares, privately held equity. We invest in shares ideally if you are investing for a long time. And also if you are financially literate, like when you finish investments, when you finish this module, you won't be financially literate anymore. You'll be so literate, you will know how to invest in shares and what to expect. And you say, since you are financially literate, you will know that share prices go up and down, up and down. Those are the people who should ideally invest in shares. So now the next question coming up in the poll is, what is the main difference between ordinary shares and preference shares? Coming up, please answer them in the poll. The last time we had 28 respondents. Let's beat that number. 28 respondents. We can do better than that. Because how many people do we have? Let me check. How many people? Okay, this secondary screen is not doing me any too good. Okay, oh, we have 48. So we need to hit 30 maybe. What is the main difference between ordinary shares and preference shares? Make your choice. Don't be shy to be wrong. That's why you are learning. If you were always right, why would you come to school? There's really no reason you would come to school to be right. But we come so that we can learn. The main difference between ordinary shares and preference shares from your earlier modules. We need to hit 30, ladies and gentlemen, because we have 48 people. 48 people. Maybe we need to hit 40. Get to 40 people. Let's warm ourselves up before we do any calculations. And people say, I can just wait for him to talk. I tell you, if you are not participating, you are not learning as much. Because to learn more, you need to participate. You need to touch, you need to calculate, you need to read, all those things. Continuous exposure to the same material, it improves your learning. So make your choice. Now you're just choosing, you're not calculating anything. Let's see, maybe, because we are stuck at 20, 25. I'm just wondering, why would we be stuck at 25? When last time we had 28. Make a choice, ladies and gentlemen. Make a choice. Okay, maybe some of your choices are still in the wires. Okay, so we say ordinary shares, the main difference between ordinary shares and preference shares is that preference shares pay a fixed dividend, while ordinary shares pay a variable dividend. So as a preference share, they can say it's a 10% preference share with a book value of 100 Rand. What this means, what this means is you are going to be getting on a monthly basis, on an annual basis. Daniel says my volume is too low. I don't know if it's my device. I'm so loud. People can hear me from far away. Maybe increase your volume a little bit. I can hear. Desiree said she can hear. Okay, Desiree, fine. Okay, so we can continue. So the main difference between ordinary shares and preference shares is that preference shares pay a fixed dividend. So we are saying if the preference share is a book value of 100 Rand and it's a 10% preference share, it means every year you are going to get 10 Rand as a dividend. Whether the company does very well, whether it does poorly, you are going to get your 10% as a dividend. It's a fixed amount dividend. That's a preference share. And ordinary share, if the government does very well, you get a very high dividend. If the government does poorly, you might not get even a dividend. That's the difference. That's an important difference we should keep in mind, because that thing is going to be something which we need. So there are two types of shares and there are preference shares. So we say in investments, we say the market value. I think there is a thing which is blocking the top there. Let's see. Yes. How can I? No. Okay, now it's gone. It was blocking for no reason. So we are saying in investments, ladies and gentlemen, this is an important investment concept which you will not appreciate now, which you might not appreciate for a long time. But an important investment concept is to say the future, the value of any investment is the present value of future cash flows. What am I saying? You buy a flat, which you do. So let's say you have your property, but you buy an investment flat. The value of that flat, the value which you put on that flat, is your expectation that how much rent are you going to get from that flat. Okay. Not just how much of that rent are you going to get from that flat. What is the present value you are going to get? So let's say the rent you are going to get this year is going to be more than because you are going to discount for the next year. So the value of any investment instrument is the present value of future cash flows. Okay, what am I talking about? Okay, let me look for my pointer. Where is my pointer? Here it is. So we are saying your value of any investment, shares, bonds, is your value today, is to say, what am I going to get future runs next year, the following year, up to the future. So when we say find the value today, when we are doing our calculations, intrinsic value calculations, we are trying to find all these present values of the money we are going to get in the future. Very important concept. So when we say, what is the value of a share today? We are going to say, we are trying to ask the question, what are its dividends next year, year 2, year 3, going forward? That's the value of the share. The value of the share is equal to its future dividends, the expected future dividends. That's the value of the share. So when we talk of a preference share, remember we said the preference share, they pay a fixed dividend. So if we had today, if you look at your number line, so what is the value of your preference share? So we are saying because the preference share dividends, if you are right, the preference shares dividend is 1.50 Rand. You are saying what is the value of 1.50 Rand, the future value of 1.50 Rand in the future today? So what do? We discount these R1.50 by the required rate of return. What return am I expecting if I was to invest in this preference share? So in this case, we are saying we are discounting it with 10%. So we are saying R1.50 today, R1.50 discount today. Year number 2, R1.50 discounting today. Year number 3, R1.50 discounted today. Value of a preference share is easy, ladies and gentlemen, because then you just say the value of the preference share is R1.50 divided by 0.1. Because this R1.50 dividend is in perpetuity. In perpetuity, what does that mean? It's always going to be there in the future, as long as we can know, we can foretell. So the value of a preference share, R1.50 dividend divided by 0.1. And you know how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. You are supposed to calculate your question in red. When you find your answer, put it in the chat. There is choose your option in the chat, so that I know how many people have finished the calculation. If you have a question, you can post it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. Let's do that calculation quickly. Let's do that calculation quickly. Let's do that calculation quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be shy to do the calculation. And also don't be shy to post. Don't be shy to post. Don't be shy to do the. Why are you not supposed to be shy? Because the concept of dividend valuation or share valuation is something we are going to be working on. So we are building.
John, can you hear me? Dr. Nyamunda?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. I thought I lost you there for a moment.
No, because somebody came here to ask me something. That's why then I went on mute.
Oh, okay.
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 Yeah, that's why I was off a little bit. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. So, most of you, 12 said 14,285. 14 said 4. Okay. Can you please mute that person? So you can see your response there, ladies and gentlemen. 14,2857. Why I said 2857? Remember 4 decimal places. And this was just, so for those who said 14.29 and those who said 14. Let's tell someone. Okay, that person is gone. That's good. So 14,285. So why I said 14,285 4 decimal place, that's to remind you. Is a reminder. But if you say 14.29, if it was in the exam, remember the lecturer said it's going to be, we are not going to say to test you on 14.285 or 14.29. But remember 4 decimal places, ladies and gentlemen. You want to get used to the 4 decimal places. Okay? Now, so we were calculating a no growth share or a preference. No growth. When we say no growth, remember we're saying if the dividend is not growing. Now we are doing what we call the constant growth model or a constant growth share. Constant, we are saying the dividend is growing at a constant rate, at the same rate. So constant growth model, we are saying, so let's do a question, this question. What is the value of a share whose last dividend was R1 and is expected to grow at 5% per year, the required return is 10%. Okay. Now we are told that the dividend is growing at 5% per year. If we go on our number line, so we are saying today the dividend which it paid was this R1 on the number line. Next year, because it's growing at 5%, it's 105. The following year, it's 105 times another 5%. It gives you 1.1025. Times another 5%, it gives you another 1.1576. Okay. So the value of a share using the constant growth model is equals to next dividend. Remember when I say the one fundamental concept in finance is to say future value, present value of future cash flows. So we are saying next dividend. We are going to say next dividend, which is going to be D1. So dividend for next year divided by the required rate of return minus growth. That's the price of a share using the dividend constant growth model. So which is short form is P is equals to D1 divided by R minus G, which is the same as this. So today's dividend, so D1 is we are going to say today's dividend or last dividend, and we grow it by the growth rate. So it equals to D0 times 1.G, which is in this case D1 is equals to 1 times 1.05, which is equals to 1 rand 5 cents. So this 1 rand 5 cents is exactly this number in the number line in year 1. So what we're trying to do is to find the D1 in the formula by growing this 1 rand by 5% to give us 1.505. So then when we have the D1, all we are going to do is to plug in the formula. So we are going to say 1.05, which is D1 here. 1.05 divided by 0.1. 1, which is 0.1 minus 0.05 is 0.05, which is there. So we say 1.05 divided by 0.05 equals to 20 rand. So the value of this share is 21 rands. It's never enough. It's never enough. Yeah, I gave you the formula there. Okay. So your question is this one. And I'm going to start a poll, so you go and choose your answer in the poll. So your question is that one. If you finish, post it. If you finish too quickly, then you can do the extra question. Lizzie says, yeah, a bit faster. Am I a bit too fast? Okay, let's go back. We are saying the value of a share which is growing at a constant rate is equal to the value of its future dividends. So we say the price or the value, price and value are the same here. Price is equal to next dividend. Next dividend, because here in this question we are told that the last dividend was 1 rand. And it's expected to grow at 5%. So the next dividend is equal to 1 rand and grow it by 5%, which is what gives you D1105. Once you have your D1105, 1.05, then you can just plug it in the formula and say 1.05 divided by required return is already given here. It's 10%. So 10% is the same as 0.1. Minus G is equal to 0.05 because 5% is the same as 0.05, which is equal to 1.05 divided by 0.05 equals 21. Ha! This is yours. Yours, ladies and gentlemen. Try that one. And I will start a poll for you to go and put your answer there. So I will start 2 polls. The one is for the first one, the other one is for the next one. So I'll say launch this one and launch that one. It will be in your chart on the right side. So Teboho put it in the chat. So the one which you can see, if you don't want the thing to show, you just close it there. You close the poll and then go at the top one, you put your answer in the top one for the first one. Choose the answer there and put it there. And then the next one, the Shasha holding one, then you put there. Or you can, if it's too hard, then you can just post it in the chat. I will zip so that you can concentrate. The formula is at the top in case you are not seeing the formula. The formula is there at the top, which says D1 divided by required return minus G. The answer for the first one, go scroll a little bit up in the chat and you'll see the chat there. Then you post your answer in the chat. Please put your answer in the chat. The first chat for the first question, the second chat for the second question. That or put in the chat so that I know where we are. Okay, I'll give you 1 more minute. Once you're done, put your answer in the chat either by doing the poll or putting in the chat so that I know where we are. Otherwise, I'll move too far. You can just say like what Wilson did there, 1 equals to, then put the answer. Then you say 2 equals to, so that I know where we are. Because if I don't know where you are, then I will be moving so fast because I'll be just thinking, oh, everyone is just has got the answer now. Once you finish your first one, go and do the second one. Okay, when I see 11 o'clock, then we continue. So that will give everyone a chance. Once you finish the first one, go do the second one. Okay, 1 minute, and we will be going. Okay, it's 11 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Let's go and look at the answer. So for the first question, ladies and gentlemen, the answer was 6375. I'm going to 6275. How come? 6375. 6275. Let's see what do we have here. 6250. 63. Oh, the answer wasn't 6375. 63. So we are saying D1. I think people forgot to calculate D1. So D1, so the question is, a share paid R5 dividend during this last financial year. The dividend is expected to grow at 2% per year. And investors' required rate of return is 10%. Calculate the value of the share using the constant growth model. D1 divided by required return minus G. So you step 1, calculate D1. D1, R5 times 1.02 equals to R5.10. That's your D1. Then you plug 5.10 divided by 0.1, which is that 10%, minus 0.02, which is equal to 5.1 divided by 0.08, which is equal to 63.75. 63.75. As a lot of you are saying no answer. I think the answer was there. Okay. Then for those who did number 2.
Doc?
Okay, quite enough. Yes?
Can you hear me, Doc?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm finding a bit confusion on calculating of D1. Is it 5 times 1.02, or is it 5 over 5 times 0.202?
Okay. So it's okay. Let's do this. Oh, let's use technology. Let's try to maximize the use of technology. Okay. Now the calculator is coming up. I don't know why I made it so big. Okay. So it's, if we say 5 times 0.02, it gives you 0.1. You can see that.
Yes, Doc.
When it says 0.1 plus 5, you see that 5.1.
Yes.
It's the same as saying 5 times 1.02. You can see that 5.1.
Yes.
Jacqueline, yes, talk to me.
Yes, I can hear you.
So,
Okay.
but then when we look at your example, on the first example that you made, as when we're calculating D1, if you go to that slide, it was 1 times in brackets the rent, right? Like, you know, you see your example how it is. I think most of us, we followed how you did your example. You saw it's 1 times in brackets, so it should be 5 plus 0.02 as the question that we were doing. Hence, we found 5.02 over 0.08. That's why most of people, when we calculating the whole thing, we got 62.75.
Okay, Jacqueline, if you look at my example, it's 1 times 1 plus 0.05. Can you see that one?
Yes.
So it's equal to 1 times 1.05. Are you agreeing with me there?
Yes.
Because if you say 1 plus 0.05 is equal to 1.05, isn't that so?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why we have 1 times 1.05, which gave us that number. In our case, it would be 5 times 1 plus 0.02, which would be 5 times 1.02. Isabella.
So how did you calculate?
Yes, Jacqueline, continue.
No, I was just asking in terms of if we had to put the sum the way you gave it us with your example, you know, if we said so that one, it's
5.
how the formula comes, right? So it's 5 there. Oh,
Yes.
I think maybe we messed up there. Oh, okay.
So it will be 5 times 1.02. Okay?
No,
Isabella.
All right.
Yes. No, I was just gonna say the way that you're explaining it is correct. The formula in brackets will always remain like that. It's going to be a 1 plus the growth rate. That's how the formula is.
I wasn't hearing. Let me increase the volume so that I can hear you. What are you saying there, Isabella?
No, I was just trying to explain to Jacqueline that the formula in the bracket, that's how it's going to be. It's always going to be remain a 1 plus the growth rate. The growth rate can change. It all depends on what the question has been like. But the growth rate will remain there. But it's always going to be 1 plus whatever growth rate that you are given.
Yes, 100%. So that G is going to change, but 1 is going to be always there. Any other question? Let's see. I see there are 2 hands there. Let's see if there's someone I'm missing. Jacqueline, we spoke to already. Okay. Okay, Jacqueline, if you could put your hand down so that. Okay, perfect. Now, question number 2, the extra question. Shasha paid a dividend of 4 rand recently. Investors require a return of 12% from Shasha. The dividend is expected to grow at 10%. Calculate the intrinsic value using the constant growth model. Same story, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's 4 rand. 4 rand, that was the last dividend. 4 rand, then we grow it by 10%. So it's 4 brackets 1.10. Like what Isabella was saying. Now I didn't do the long calculation here like at the top. I just did went straight for it. 4 times 1.10 to grow the top number, divided by 0.12 minus 0.1. Then if you increase 4 rand by 10%, it gives you 4 rand 40 divided by 0.02, which is equals to 2 rand 20. Anyone with a question? Because this is a fundamental, when we're using the dividend discount model, this is the fundamentally what we are going to be trying to do. So we need to be comfortable with it. Going once, going twice, then we can continue. Okay, this challenge question, we are going to come back to it. The challenge question, we are going to come back to it. Okay. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, we said the value of a share is equal to the present value of its dividends. But now we did the no growth share, which was the preference share. And then we did the constant growth, which we did just a second ago. Now we are going to do what we call a multi-stage or a 2-stage discount model. The concept is very close. Akiso, what is Akiso saying? Let's see. I think they must not forget to use brackets because I think there is a problem. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's have this question. So we are telling a share's current dividend is 2 rand. The dividends are expected to grow at the rate of 20% for the first 3 years, before reducing to a constant growth of 10% thereafter. The required return is 15%. Find the value of that share. If you look at this question, there is a new thing which we didn't do the last time. The new thing is to say, the last time we said it's expected to grow at a constant rate of, then we ended there. Now it's saying it has a period of high growth. So first 3 years is going to grow at 3%. Then after 3 years, it's going to reduce growth to about 10%. So what are we saying? We are saying, like in the number line at the bottom here, we are saying, what is the value of this share or the price of this share? Its dividend today is 2 rand. Someone forgot to mute themselves there. Please check and mute yourself. Or Yumna, please mute someone there. So today's dividend is 2 rand. So we are saying it's going to grow by 20% in year 1. It's going to grow again by 20% in year 2. It's going to grow again by 20% in year 3. I'm here in the number line. You can see in the number line. In year 3, it has grown by 20%. But from year 3 going forward, from year 4, it's going to grow by 10%. So it's going, this 2 rand is going to grow by 20%, it becomes 2 rand 40. It's going to grow, 2 rand 40 is going to grow by 20% to become 288. Grows again by 20%, becomes 345.6. Thereafter, it's going to grow by 10% to become 3802. Okay. Now let's, this is an important thing which is confused. When I used to teach this, when I teach this, this confuses people. So we know that in year 3, from year 4 going forward, because here we are told a share's current dividend, the dividend is expected to grow 20% for the first 3 years before reducing to. So from year going forward, it's going to grow at a constant rate of 10%. So the first thing after finding these values, our D1, D2, D3, D4, the first thing we should then do is to find the price. Because remember, in year 3, from year 4 going forward, we know that it's going to grow at a constant rate. So now we come and use our constant growth model in year 3. So we are going to say D1, in this case, is going to be D4, this dividend number 4, which is 380 divided by required rate of return 0.15 minus growth 0.10. So price in year number 3 is going to be 76 rand and 036 and 3 cents or 4 cents. 76 rand. So the price in year number 3 is going to be that. Why is it that? Because in year number 3 we can use our constant growth model, because we know that from year 4 going forward is going to be growing at a constant rate. Okay, it's all confusing. Now let's go to the top here. So we are saying first find the value of dividends. That's step number 1. So you say D1, this is what we did, 240. D2, which is year number 3, you can see that D3 is equal to 288, which gives us that. D4, 3, which gives us 3 rand, 380. I think my calculation there is crazy. Then we are saying to going to the step number 2, find the price in year 3. This is what we're doing. So we say P3 is equal to D4. This is what I was trying to explain. D4 divided by required rate of, yes, required rate of return minus G. Why calculate D2? 2.88. Because we are calculating D2, but the calculation there I think is not too clever. We are calculating D2 because remember the first 3 years is growing at a high rate. So we are trying to find that value. So the first step, we are calculating these dividends. The next step, we are going to find the price. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to say D4 divided by required rate of return minus G. So required rate of return from the question is 15% minus G growth. So which gives us this 76036, which is this one, this price in year 3. If we are still together, there's a mistake here, somewhere here, because I skipped to say point times 1.2, D2 here. Okay. So if we are still together, now we are going to find the present value of dividend 1, dividend 2, dividend 3, plus the price in year 3. So this is what we are going to do. We are now going to say 240, which is the first dividend, divided by 1.15. 1.15 is the required rate of return, plus 288, which is the dividend number 2, divided by 1.5 to the power of 2, plus 3.486 divided by 1.15 to the power of 3, plus 7636, which is the price in year number 3, divided by 1.15 to the power of 3, which is equals to 56 rand 53 cents. Anyone with a question? I see there is a number which is giving people unhappiness, which I need to correct. there is something which is keep giving people unhappiness, and justifiably so. Now they shouldn't be unhappy anymore. Anyone with a question? Anyone with a question, please post in the chat. Take time to absorb this number line, how it's working. While I'm looking for my pointer, I can't even find where the pointer is. No. Oh, no pointer. Okay, go over it again, sir. Why are we calculating 1.2? Okay, let's start from the top there, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, pointers are here. Okay, let's start from the top. You went past the point. I wasn't seeing it. Okay, let's start with the question so that we were talking about the same thing. So a share's current dividend is R2. Okay, let's absorb the question so that we know we don't get lost with the question. The share's current dividend is R2. The dividends are expected to grow at the rate of 20% for the first 3 years. So for the first 3 years, the dividends are growing at 20%, reducing to a constant growth of 10% thereafter. So which means from year number 4, the dividends are growing at 10%. The required return is 15%. Find the value of that share. So we are saying for the first 3 years, 1, 2, 3, let's grow the dividend by 20%. From year number 4, it's going to grow at a constant rate of 10%. So this is what we did here in the number line. What is the price? The dividend currently is 2. So if we say 2, if we grow it by 20%, it gives you 240. If you grow that 240 by 20%, 288. 288, if you grow it by 20%, it gives you 3.456. But we know that from year number 4 is going to grow at a constant of 10%. So we grow 3.456 by 10%, it gives you 3.8. So step number 2, find the price of the share in year number 3. So we are trying to find the price. Why are we finding in year number 3? It's because from year number 4, it's growing at a constant rate. So we can use our constant growth model, which we all know from the last slide. So now we can say D1, but D1, remember in year 2, it's not D1, it's actually D4. Yeah. So it's D4, which is 3802 divided by 0.15 minus 0.1, which is equal to 76. So this is what you would have done. So you have done that. Now you have done step number 2. So now the only thing which you are left, once you have all your dividends and you have the price in year number 3, the only thing you are left to do is to find the present value. So we are saying the present value of dividend number 1, 2.4 divided by 1.15, plus the present value of dividend number 2, 2.88 divided by 1.15, plus the present value in year number 3, plus the present value of that future price, year 3 price, 76 divided by 1.15, which is equals to that, plus that, plus that, plus that, which gives you this price. Are you clear? Because the next, the next thing is going to be your own question, your own personal one. Your own personal one you can take home with. Okay. I can see people are ready. I can see people are saying, okay, John, this is easy stuff. Let's do the question. How do we do this calculation? No, you don't need a financial calculator. Don't worry about the financial calculator for now. I think one of the examples which I saw, they were showing what you can do on a financial. Don't worry about the financial calculator. It will increase complexity. First, just get this straightforward calculation. So our question 1 there is to say Velvet Corporation paid a dividend of R2 per share. This is yours. I'm just reading it in case like, okay. What I did there is I showed you the steps to say, first, find the value of dividends. Second, find the price in year 2. Third, find the present value of dividends. Then you get your answer. Okay, now let me see another question. I get most of my, but where did we get the 1.2? 1.2 lazy is, remember, the question said the dividends are going to grow by 20% in the first 3 years. That's where the 1.2 is coming from. Isabella, now you want people to kill me. There, I'll show you for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1.2 was that growth there. Lizzie, that growth, 20% growth for the first 3 years. That's why we're doing 1.2 before we went to 1.1. There is your question. I gave you the steps here at the bottom to help to just jog your memory. I'm quiet so that you can. I'm quiet so that you can concentrate. Someone was saying I'm quiet. I'm not loud enough, but I don't think so. If you have a question, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can post in the chat. Okay, Kuda and Hopkins, they are close to each other, but just a little bit off each other. Kuda, did you do the rounding in the right way, or you were rounding from the word go? You were rounding to 2 decimal places.
From the word go.
You're supposed to round off at the last step.
At the last step, okay.
You just get into the habit of it. One and a half minutes to go. Ladies and gentlemen, try it. Try it. Don't sit and give up on it. Try it, because if you don't try it, then when I did explain it, it doesn't make sense at all. But if you try it, then you say, oh, okay, then I was stuck there. Let's have more answers in the chat. Yes, Faith.
Hi, sir. I'm unable to tap on the chat because it says I'm not a member.
Ah, okay. It doesn't like you. What's your answer so that I can type for you?
No, I haven't finished the last step. I'm doing the second last step now. Quick.
Yeah, and me too. You can imagine I also can't type on it because it said you can't send this message. You're not a member. Me too. When you find your answer, Faith, tell me and I can't type it. Just tell me. Interestingly enough, my other computer I can type. So you can tell me, I can post for you. I see some people start typing and then they don't. Okay, Leon 136 0634. Okay, let's get one more person and then we can explain what's happening. Okay, I can see I have a few people typing, which is a good thing. $30. Okay, gift 147. I like it when we get different answers. Okay, let's wait for Caitlin who's typing. Desiree 139. Ah, Caitlin is not typing, is not finished typing. Okay, 131 116. Okay, let's go and look. Elken Rose 147. Hakiso. Okay, now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. So Velvet, let's see, it's the same question. Yes, the same question. So we are saying Velvet Corporation paid a dividend of R2 per share. Assume that the dividends will grow by 18% per year during the next 2 years. Okay, I will just do this. Assume the dividends will grow by 18% during the next 2 years. Then I will say R2. So for year number 1 dividend, R2, 18% gives you 236. Year 2, R2, 236 times 1.18, 278. Year 3, okay, now we wait. After that growth, it is expected to level off to a constant growth of 6% per year. So year number one grow by 18%, year number 2 grew by 18%. From year 3, it's growing by 6%. So we say 278 times 1.06, which gives us that. Remember, we said our next step is to find the dividend at the end of the growth period. Oh, that's not good. Okay, let's see. Let me reorganize because for some reason, my monitor went off. Okay, let's reshare. Share desktop. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, now we are back in business. We are back in business. Okay, so you can say that. So we did the growth for the first period. So we did the growth for year number 1, year number 2, year number 3 by 6%. Now we are going to find the price in year number 3. So we say price is equals to this dividend, D3, 2.915 divided by 0.08 minus 0.06 equals to, this is our answer, 147.59.44. Then the next step is to find the present values. So we find 236, which is this dividend, divided by 1.08. Why 1.08? Because that's the required return here at the top. Plus 2.7848 divided by 1.08 squared. Why 278? Where are we finding is this number? Plus 147, where are we getting this number? Divided by 1 squared. So we are finding the present value. Then that plus, then it gives you 131.11. Anyone with a question? Anyone with a question? Because you know how it goes. The next one will be your question. Anyone with a question? Okay. It looks like people are happy. No question. Either people are confused or people are happy. Question number 2. Yes, Faith.
Okay, I'm still struggling with the very last step. I understand the first, second step, only the last step.
This one, yeah. What are you starting?
Yes. Okay, I'm trying to understand that you're using the first one, you take year 1, which is the dividend value, right? And then that 1.08 that's the one that I'm trying to.
So we are discounting. So you are discounting by this required rate of return there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And why do you know? Do you know why we have this 1 and this 2 and this 2? Or do you know why we have this?
No, the last two, the first one I understand, but the second and the third one, why are you discounting it to 2? That's why I'm getting a bit confused.
Because this is for year number 2, so we are discounting for year number 2. That's why we have to the power of 2.
Yes, that's fine.
If we had year number 3, we would then say 1.08 to the power of 3 for year number 3. So this is which year it is. So this is year number 1, year number 2, discounting for year number 2. If it was 3, then we would say 3. If year number 4, then we would say discount the year number 4.
Okay.
Are you happy?
So for the very last discounting, because you're discounting it at number 2, the third year, is it because that's where it stops the growth percentage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where it stops the high growth period.
Okay.
Then we have Ngosnati says, I don't understand why we use the price for the last year. The third year is in this instance. Okay. We are using the price because remember, the price of the share is still D1 divided by required return minus G. So that formula hasn't changed. That's why we are using it in year number 3. Because we want to say, what is the price in year number 3 plus the 2 dividends which have already been paid? So the issue of the constant growth is still there, buried in this multi-stage growth model. To say year number 3, in year number 3, what is the price using the constant growth model? And why we are there, then we have to discount it backwards to year number 1. That's why we are using it at the end of the period, because it's only from year number 3 that is growing at a constant rate. So since it's growing at a constant rate, now we can use our happy formula, which is the constant growth model. There's the step 3, year 3 calc to the power of 3 or 2. Remember, this question is 2 years. So this price is the power of 2 because we are finding the price, this price we found. This price is in year 2. That's why we are saying to year number 2, Desiree. Any other question before we go? Because the next one is your another question. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. Isabella.
Yes, what's the okay, no, it's fine. You've covered it on step 3. I wanted to know what's the formula for step 3. I've got it. Thank you.
Okay. You want to know the formula for what?
The step 3, the last answer where you say P1 divided by D1, 1 plus the Rn. I was confused where the 1.08 was coming
Oh,
from.
but you found it. Do you see what's happening there?
Yes, step 2, I'm covered. I was just confused. Yes, just step 3, but now I see it's 1 plus
yes.
Yes. The 1
yes,
plus.
that's why it's 2 here because 1 here 2. So with D 1 here 2 would be 3. So it will be 2 plus 1, 3. Dividend 3.
Okay. Now I'm covered. Thank you.
Perfect. Now your question, that one. Jacob says step 2 is it's giving me 147.5 instead of 147.5944. Ah, Jacob, you are a perfectionist. You are worried about that 1 cent. Just check it, probably rounding wasn't correct, but you are there, so you shouldn't worry about it. Perfectionist you. Okay, this one is yours. This one is slightly different. Now you see, now you know how to ride a bike, like it's your baby, you're teaching your child to ride a bicycle. So now she knows how to sit on it and do it nice. Now you're saying, no, hold with 1 hand. That now we are doing 1 hand style for this question. Same thing, but just now we are doing 1 hand. So I'll go on me. Am I back? Yes, power is back. I'm reorganizing myself, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I have to show you the other screen because otherwise I won't see what's happening. Okay, I'm hoping you are back. Yeah. When you find your answer, let's see, did I have a thing about the poll? No? When you find your answer, please put it in the chat. Oh, 1.5 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking at the time, and the time is running away from us. Okay, Hopkins T is an answer in the chat. Okay. We are waiting for you, Kuda. Put your answer there. Last time you had the answer quickly, so we are expecting. Okay, Leon. Ah, okay. Interesting. Interesting. If we have two answers which are the same, we think we're onto something. Kuda, you are a little bit off. Okay, let's see if someone else will agree with you. Okay, Kakiso, we are waiting for you. I can see we are typing. Yeah, before that's a long answer. Oh, you can't be typing all that long, Kakiso. We are waiting. Maybe let's wait for two more answers will help us to move on. Kakiso is 38.46. Interesting. One more answer will help us to move on. Gift is 66. Okay, let's wait one more person. One more person. Someone is typing. Maybe it's correct. The 49:30. Okay, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see. Okay, it was 47. Okay, let's see. $49.30. Dineo agrees with me. Oh, who else? $49.30, Justice, $49.37, 47, $49.30, Dineo, who else is there? 14, Kuda, 50, Leon, $49.30. Okay, so $49.30. Okay. The steps, ladies and gentlemen, remember, let's see the point at which was hiding for me the last time. So let's go back to the question. Macro paid a dividend of R2 per share during the last financial year. If dividend are expected to grow as follows: year 1, 5%, year 2, 15%, year 3, 25%. Let's just do that before we forget. That's me doing this question. So year 1, we are told it's 5%. So we say R2, it grows by 5%, R2.10. Year 2, we are told at the top is 15%. D2, 210 times 15, 2.4. Year 3, 2.4 times 1.25, 3.0188. Year 4, it is expected to thereafter grow constantly 10%. Okay, so year 4 then is 3 times 10%, which gives us that. Once you have all these numbers, then you can say you do your P3, then which is 3.32, which is this last dividend, divided by 0.15 minus 0.10, which gives you 66,4125. Which is the price in year number 3. Now we are going to find the present value of everything. Then you say 210 divided by that, 2.4 divided by that, 3.018 divided by that, plus 66 divided by that, which gives you 49.30. Anyone with a question, ladies and gentlemen? Anyone with a question? Okay. I hope you saw where you missed this something. Okay. Now we are doing something slightly different, but this one is just a plug and play. Plug and play. Okay. So, okay, I used to say I actually mixed the year 2 as the value. Okay, so you see where you're wrong. So now you get a question which says the firm has, okay, you see example there, I'm right in the middle of the slide. A firm has a return on equity of 16% and its dividend payout is 25%. What is the growth rate of the firm? What is the growth rate of the firm? So we say the formula for growth is really at the top. Growth is equals to, here at the top, growth is equals to return on equity times retention ratio. So retention ratio, when we say retention ratio, is to say when we do the profit, so let's say to say it's like saying net profit per share. That's return on equity. Net profit per share times retention of the net profit, how much is being retained by the organization. So if the return on equity or the profit per share or return per share is 10 Rand, if the retention ratio is 50%, no, 50% is a bad example. If the retention ratio is 60%, it means 60%, your payout is 40%. It means you're paying 40% as a dividend. You're paying out 40% as a dividend. So that's the story about retention. How much is being retained? So now in this example, then we are saying the firm has a return on equity of 16% and a dividend payout of 25%. So we know that if dividend payout is 25%, what is the retention ratio? Obviously, the retention ratio is the 75%, is what was retained. So what is the growth rate? So we know that we plug and play in our formula. 16%, which is return on equity, times 1 minus 0.25. Because we are told the payout is 25%, which gives you 0.16 times 0.75, which is 0.12, which is 4%. Things can be easier. Your question is that the one in red. Your question is the one in red. And you know what? I think I have a poll for you to go and just, once you get your answer there, you can just quickly click poll, red, this one, launch this one. Jeboko says, step 3 needs proper practice. Yes, I agree. So now this is more like a question you would get in an exam, this one, with its options. Oh, I like it. Someone already has an answer. When you find your answer, put it in the chat, in the poll there. And I'm going to give you about 1 minute. Because I'm looking at my time. My time is not happy with me. Oh, no, just 3.1% so far. Desiree is number 2. Half a minute, ladies and gentlemen. 3.33 is or is it 3? Because 3 is one of the options there. Okay. Oh yeah, 33.33. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we can move on because now we are left with 7.69. Okay, let's look. Okay, so our question is at the top. A red tide copper is a retention ratio of 0.75 and a return on equity of 20%. It also has a required rate of return 18%. Expected dividend D1 is 1. Calculate the intrinsic value per share of red using the constant growth model. So our growth rate, remember, it's the ROA times RR. So it's 0.75 times 20%, which is equals to 15%, which is your growth rate. Now you take that growth rate and then you do D1. Oh, this was an exciting question. So your D1, you are given D1 divided by 0.1918 minus 1, then that gives you that. Anyone will stuck with that? Going once, going twice. This is just plug and play. But ladies and gentlemen, go and just get an understanding, because sometimes you get confused by they are mixing things up. I got a Bitcoin because I had increased the dividend. Oh, okay, yes, could I? Okay, you already, but it was already increased. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll skip this question. If we have time, I'll come back to it. Now I want us to do what we call the earnings multiplier. Earnings multiplier is a calculation which says, what is the price of the share? How many times should we multiply the earnings by? So once we know the multiplier, then the dividend, then we can find the price. So now to find the earnings multiplier, we say the value is the multiple of its earnings. That's what I say. Okay, Ngosnati says I knew it, but the calculator, yeah, okay, that's good. So we say pay out to get the price earnings multiplier. We say pay out. We already know what a payout is, and the retention ratio we spoke about it just now. Payout divided by required return minus growth. These all these terms, you know them. So it's K divided by R minus G. So remember, payout is what is not retention this time. It's payout. Earnings minus retention. So price is equals to price earnings minus dividend. Okay, so now that doesn't make sense till you do the example. If payout is 45%. Required return is 15%, growth is 10%, and the dividend is 525. Calculate the PE ratio and the price. So the PE, remember PE, we are told PE goes to payout, and here payout, we are told it's 45, so say 0.45 divided by required return, yes, we have it 0.15 minus G, and then you say, the growth is 10%. Okay, well, everything is given. So you do that, then you get 9 times. What is the price? But we are already told the dividend is 525. So it's 9 times 525, 47.25. You know, ladies and gentlemen. Your question here, and there's a big hint. Calculate the payout first, because here you are given the retention ratio. So you need to find the payout first. That's yours. Let's do that quickly because time is running out. Let's do that quickly. Let's do that quickly. Kuda is first in line, 29.33. Now Kuda can check carefully. Let's see who's happy with you. Rolivua is saying, giving you a thumbs up. Okay, let's see if the thumbs up is right. $52. Teboho gives 52. Hopkins 52.80. Kudai, your answer is getting suspicious there. Let's wait for Hakiso. Let's see what Hakiso is for us before we continue, because now we are left with a few minutes. And Jacqueline, let's wait what Jacqueline is for us. 48, Hakiso. Jacqueline. Oh, we have lots of people. 79. Oh, I like it when there are all sorts of answers. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Okay, so if retention ratio is 60, so we know that if retention ratio is 60, we know that our payout is 0.4. So it becomes 0.4 divided by required return is 20. 0.2 minus growth is 15.15. 0.4 divided by 0.05 equals 8 times, which is equals to 52 Rand 80. Justice, you are perfect. Gomolemo, you are 100% perfect. Dineo, 100%. Hopkins, 100%. Teboho, 100%. Kuda, I don't know where you got lost. Let's see if we have too many. Okay. Any questions? Because that one is an extra question. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Any questions? Because we have 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Because the next one is just a question for you. It's a practice question. Any questions? Any questions? Close poll. Any questions? Any questions?
Yes, I've got a question.
Yes.
I'm not
Isabel.
sure if I'm confused, but I think I am. Where does this 1 Rand come from? 1 minus, because you know how I did it. When they say earnings minus retention ratio, I said the 6.6 minus the retention, which is at 60%, then I converted it to a decimal. Then I got 6.
Okay.
So
this one, let me just talk about the concept here. The concept is to say, let's say the earnings of a company is 100%. So if we are told that its payout, its retention is 60%, it means it's paying out 40%. Isn't that so? So it's that. So this one is not 1 Rand. It's 1 from 100% minus how much is paid out. So they pay out 1 minus 0.6 because we are told that the retention ratio is 60%. That's what gives you 0.4. Because what we want in this question is the payout ratio, which is 0.4. I don't know whether I'm making sense there.
Oh, you know what? I think I made a mistake with the previous question that we did, whereby you were giving the retention ratio.
Oh, yes, yeah. You missed, yeah. Actually, we are right, because the other one where we are using the retention ratio to find the growth, now we are using payout to find the multiplier.
Oh, yes, I think I understand now. Thank you.
Any questions? Ladies and gentlemen, in these slides, there are other questions which are hiding with answers. They are going to be posted on the discussion forum. This video, I am lucky to record it, and I'm going to stop the recording now.